everyone, and welcome back to our monthly energy series. I'm Peyton, and I'm joined by Corey and Yaila. And in today's video, we're going to be bringing you the energy reading for the month of April. Now, as y'all can probably already tell, the energies which are already rolling in are really intense. So we have a big month for you. So, as usual, we're going to read the energy for you from 3 different directions. So, Corey's going to start us off by giving us the monthly astrology report. Then Yaila is going to do a live reading of the collective energy. And I'll wrap things up by sharing a monthly message from our Pleiadian friends. So, Corey, what is going on in the April astrology?
Well, it's a big month, April. I'm Corey Davidson, and I'm going to be doing the intuitive astrology report for April 2024. So, wow. This is the biggest energy month of 2024. So hold on to your hats. Stay grounded. Those are the 2 big main things I have to say. So, the first half of April is Aries season. What does Aries represent? Aries represents war, the warrior, self, the individual, being impulsive, go time. Like Aries is all about go time, pedal to the metal, thing to the floor, go time. I actually like Aries season. Being brave. Aries are very direct. It is that output energy. If we were going to relate it to a chakra, Aries would be the 3rd chakra, that output energy. And competition. Aries also rules competition. Aries also rules like the initiator. So the first half of April is an Aries season. We have actually 5 planets in Aries. La, la, la. The whole month. Okay, well, maybe, no, it'll be 4 the same, because the sun won't be in Aries. So April 1st, we have Mercury Retrograde in Aries until the 25th of April. And before the 1st of April, which I'm sure that you're already feeling it, but with all the Pisces energy that we've had last month, and we still have quite a bit of it in April, it felt like a Mercury retrograde. So officially April 1st is Mercury retrograde. So the retrogrades are about review and rewind and revisit. All the things that are in Aries. Mercury is the communicator. Mercury is the mind. Okay, so what can we review, rewind, and revisit? You know, it's all about the self. April is about doing the inner work. There is going to be a lot of emotions that come up about our self-worth, the relationship to ourselves. The Aries is about the I am. So here's a couple questions that you might want to ask yourself. So how have you acted out? Maybe communicated to others and really actually yourself in ways that maybe you wish you could change. That would be a Mercury in Aries question to ask yourself. Where were you impatient? Where were you impatient with others? Where were you impatient with yourself? How do you talk to yourself? How is your relationship with yourself? These are the things that we will be revisiting during the Mercury retrograde in Aries. How do you speak to yourself? Do you speak kindly to yourself? Do you give yourself grace? Or do you put yourself down? These are the things we will think about and review for the Mercury retrograde in Aries. Also, too, because Aries is very self-willed. Where were you self-willed? Where might you have wanted your way? Because Aries is about my way or the highway. So where have you been in self-will instead of having faith? And no matter what religion, spirituality, whatever you believe in, there is still that surrender and the self-will. So you might want to ask yourself, like, where have I been in self-will? Where have I been hitting that brick wall? This retrograde is very strong. So if you find yourself beating yourself up or emotional and these old wounds are coming up, because not only is it the Mercury retrograde in Aries, but we have the planet Chiron, the wounded healer, that is also joined with the North Node that's in Aries, which is the way that we point ourselves, the direction that we're going. But that Chiron in Aries is going to bring up a lot of old wounds. I thought I did this work. I thought I fixed that. I thought I healed that. Well, the little bits of debris or the big pieces are going to come up during this Mercury retrograde in Aries for 3 weeks. And with that lovely Chiron that's going to help that wounded healer, right, is going to bring it all up. So the more that we can do the inner work and heal and release those wounds that are coming up, the better our April will go, and the better our May next month will go. So if you want May to be a lot better, clear those wounds. Clear heal those wounds, clear them. On April 8th, we have a new moon, total solar eclipse in Aries. Da, da, da. All the Aries energy. So, new moons are about manifesting something new. And the solar eclipse is about big change. And because it's in Aries, again, it has to do with the self. Whether you want to do this change or whether you don't, there is change coming. Do you want to change it or do you want to transform it? If you use the Mercury retrograde to your advantage and healing those wounds, when the transformation comes from the solar eclipse, which the energies are really going to be lasting for the next 6 months, they're very strong. You'll be in alignment with the energies that allows you to shed the old, shed it. Okay. And then Mars, we have Mars and Saturn actually in play with this solar eclipse. Mars is the ruler of Aries. So Mars wants to go. It's Aries. It's fire sign. And then Saturn is the restrictor that says, now, wait a minute. Did you heal those wounds? Are you sure there's nothing left there before we go and move forward? And Mars doesn't like that. Aries doesn't like that. But Saturn is the restrictor. And if you don't clear those wounds first, Saturn will kick your butt. And of course, these are potentials. If you do the inner work, then it will go a lot smoother. This eclipse, we've had, I believe it's 60 total solar eclipse. And so, yes, are they rare? Yes, they are rare. And it's going over the United States. It's going over the United States, over lots of cities that have the same name. We have a lot in play here. We have a lot of people out there saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be a disaster. All this stuff is going to happen. And then there are the school of thought that's like, this is going to be a game changer, a life changer. Follow your heart. Your heart will never lie to you. So there's a lot that can happen with this solar eclipse. Do the inner work. And magic can happen. The second half of Taurus, the second half of April is Taurus season. And Taurus is an earth sign, complete opposite of Aries. Aries energy is going to be very strong throughout the whole month. So thank goodness for a little Taurus, because it will help. So what does Taurus represent? Values, money, food, comfort, patience, responsibilities, reliability. Taurus, being that earth sign, is very practical. And Taurus loves the finer things of life. If it ain't the best, they don't want it, which is good, which is really good. Taurus also loves their peace and quiet. So the second half, and that is April 19th, the sun will move into Taurus, making it Taurus season. On the 23rd of April, we have a full moon in Scorpio. So this can be, it actually can be a really yummy full moon. What are full moons about? They are about shedding, releasing all that no longer serves you. So if there's maybe a relationship in your life, that's time to shed it. Scorpio is also the planet of transformation. So if there's any leftover gook, of course, the inner work is never finished. But if there's leftover gook from what you've done in the beginning of the month, now is the time to release it with this full moon in Scorpio. Transformation. On the 29th, we have Venus in its home sign. And we also have on April 30th, Mars in its home sign of Aries. Venus's home sign is Taurus. So when signs are in their home signs, home planets, the energy is much easier flowing. So even though April is an extremely strong energy, very transformative. If I were to have to put one word to April, it's transformative, if you so choose. So the Aries energy is that war and that warrior energy. So choose that warrior energy to transform yourself, which in turn transforms the whole. We are now in Aquarius season. And so it's about the love and the light and the neutrality. And in order for us to be fully into the Aquarian age, we have to do that inner work. So choose love. As I always say, choose love. When the fear comes up, the pain comes up, choose love, and clear. Love yourself enough to just clear that energy and those emotions. So that's what I've got for April 2024. Yaila, what have you got?
Thank you, Corey. Love it. I forever will say transformation for one of our previous videos that you did. Transformation. All right. Well, I am Yaila, and I just tap into the collective live as we record. So I'll probably have my eyes closed from time to time. So let me just get set up. And full transparency, this is our April 2.0 second attempt because our last one had some glitches in it. So we wanted to bring a better quality video for you, but since I channel live, it's just gonna be an extension to the previous one if you saw that one. So all right, for the collective. And of course, always like to ask for a blessing, creative all that is. Please bring forth information that is for your highest and best good. For those of you tuning in, please guide me with clarity and accuracy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, still getting the same colors that I got previously. A nice jewel tone like ruby red and purple. That red is definitely fire energy. And I don't know about you, but I am already feeling feisty today. So this should be an interesting reading. So now to expand on that fire energy, what does the fire energy mean? Not just because we're in Aries season, but what does it actually mean for the collective? And when I was asking the question before, think about fire. You know, when it's quick, it's fast, it clears the path, pretty much not much is left behind. I always think about fire in nature. So when there is a fire that goes across nature, it basically replenishes the soil to make it nice and fertile for those new seeds to grow. So it's like creation and destruction. And I always, the words the guys were bringing in too before we started filming today was, you know, that saying, F around and find out. So it's kind of that vibe, like F around and find out. And this is on a personal level and a collective level. So it's not just the present energy, but it's kind of I'm hearing the last couple years actually is coming to culmination for us from the last eclipse. This is the energy pretty much from now through second week of April. It's that F around and find out energy, because what we've been putting into place for ourselves personally and what we've been putting out into the world, it's coming back to us. And so those times where you haven't been as honest with yourself, you're going to find out. Those times when people haven't been honest with you, you're going to find out. They're going to find out. So there's a lot of, and we're kind of seeing that a little bit already in the collective. There's a lot more that we'll be seeing coming up, but it really is the vibe of, you know, play with matches, you're going to get burned kind of energy. So you really want to be careful what energies you are focusing on, what you are giving your attention to, because that is going to keep spreading and growing just like a firewood. You know, your attention is like the gasoline to fire. So not to say if you've done things in the past that maybe you wish would have been done differently. Of course, we're here to learn from our mistakes and grow and expand. So it's not to say all is lost, but if you're still bringing attention to that and you're still putting energy into that, you're just adding gasoline to the fire. So be mindful of that. But at the same time, it's kind of a clear slate. You know, this is the energy where truths are coming up. Like, you know, it's what I was hearing as well was those truths that you are scared to admit to yourself are going to come to the surface if they haven't already. So it's going to be one of those things that, just like fire, it's a fast, quick, sometimes uncontrollable. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where it's kind of been in your heart for a while. You don't know how to say it. You're not sure if you can say it, but something just happens and it just comes out without you thinking about it. You might have those situations coming up as well. So be aware of that. And the sooner you can be truthful and honest, the sooner you can have it on your own terms and in a way that is easier for you to manage versus holding back, not saying your truth. And then all of a sudden it just comes out and it just spreads. So their fire energy is a real deal for the beginning part of this month, especially for some of you, it might be towards the end as well. The purple that I was seeing was divine guidance. So you are getting those deeper downloads, that divine guidance. People I've been working with, they've kind of been in this place of they know change is coming. They're ready for next steps. They know a new step. They're transitioning, transforming, changing into something new, but they're not sure what that new is. This month, you're going to get so much more clarity on that. So just trust that higher guidance, trust that wisdom that is coming in for you. Whatever higher power you believe in is bringing in those downloads. They are trying to align you to your highest and best timeline, to your highest and best good. So trust those inner feelings in your heart. They're there for a reason, so you can trust it. And that is leading to your next step. One of the things they brought in was to watch out for outside influences causing confusion, right? So now that you're getting more clear for yourself, you might be getting confused by other people's reactions, or you might be confused by outside choices, decisions, things like that, where you start to go in your mind again and wonder, well, maybe I should wait, maybe I shouldn't, on something that you wanted to act on. That is not a time to hold back. This is a time for you to really speak your truth and not to let outside sources confuse you. So let me see if there's anything else they want to add on to that, because that was brought in through the last message. Anything else to watch out for? I think they kind of mentioned that too, play with matches, you might get burned. So that's also kind of a warning for you. So just be mindful about where you're focusing your energy. Let's see if there's anything else that's helpful for you, the collective, to know for April 2024. Okay. Last time they brought in that it can be fast, it can be easy. It can be quick, it can be painless. Changes sometimes we get in our mind a lot about what does it all mean? Why is it showing up? How are we going to do this? All of those questions slow us down. They hold us back. They actually pull us off of our higher timeline. So this is not a time to ask, why is this happening? You know, how am I going to do it? How am I going to step into that next level? It's like, no, if you know you're being called to another level, you need to trust that you will be guided to those how steps. The how will keep showing up. Those inner guidances, the path will unfold for you. That is where you want to put your attention to. You don't have to figure out in your mind first before you start taking action steps. So this is a time to follow that inner truth, that inner guidance. How the solutions are going to come about will come about. They will unfold. And they're bringing that in, especially, relationships are really highlighted this month. And so how are we going to change our relationship? Are we going to separate? Are we going to divorce? Are we going to split assets? Are we going to come together? Are we going to live here? Are we going to live there? Those hows are going to come through. So what do you want is where you want to focus. What is your heart calling you to is where you want to focus. And then the rest, the hows, the whys will start to come into your awareness. Any last little messages before I switch it over to Peyton? Let's see. So the last message, the previous video, they brought in everybody is creative, resourceful, and whole. So that is your strength. Your authentic truth is your superpower. So it's not to look at yourself in any type of victim mentality. It's not to look at anyone else through the lens of them being a victim. We are all creative, resourceful, and whole. And there are so many options and opportunities and different ways to do things. I'm actually seeing there's going to be new ways to do things coming in. And this time of year, it is a lot of fast, quick changes, but they're also new and improved changes that have never been done before. So just know that we're on this cusp of doing life different. And how would you want your life to be? How would you want to spend your day, your time? Obviously, there is you get out of life what you put into it, just like you get out of relationships what you put into it. So it's not to say you just get to sit on your ass all day and expect the world to give you everything. That's not, pardon my French. There is going to be some effort you have to put in, but it's also can be done in a different way. So how we used to do things all the time, or how our grandparents and ancestors used to do things, may not be how we do things now. Or we might be going back to how our grandparents used to do things. I'm kind of being shown that in our food systems, right? There's a lot of people I know that are wanting to take more control of how they nourish their body, the type of water they drink. These are highlighted really, really strong. It's like how we're nourishing, how we're staying grounded, how we're connecting to people, places, and things, and how is our energy being used? How are we sharing it? How are we using other energies? We're being shown we have to clean up our act big time across the board. So those changes are going to sweep in fast and all encompassing, just like a wildfire would, but just know it's planting new seeds. And this is our opportunity to really roll with that. Don't resist that. And there's a lot of benefit in starting fresh, starting new with a fresh, enriched soil that has just, come from some destruction. So sounds like it could be a little bit scary, but trust that you're always protected. You'll be guided. Follow your heart, follow your intuition, and stay in integrity, and you will be a-okay. That is what I have for April. Peyton, how about you and the Pleiadians?
Thank you, ladies. That was so beautiful. I always love hearing what y'all have to say. And it's always such a perfect setup for what the Pleiadians want to bring in for us. So, April, as we already know, this is going to be a massive month. We can already feel it. So the first thing that the P's wanted to do when they took a look at our collective energies for April is give us a little background. So they wanted to tell us what's happening behind the scenes. So as these energies are rolling in, and right now as we're filming, I think it's April 2nd, so we're at the very start of the fun. The P's wanted us to understand that we're entering kind of a new portal. And so what is happening is we're having the opportunity in the April energies to completely change the framework of our reality. And when they first said that, I'm like, oh yeah, we manifest our reality. That's what I thought they were going to say, which of course in the spiritual community, we all have heard this, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about changes to our reality on a whole nother level, at a level that has never been seen on this planet before. So the way they described this is we're having the opportunity to create our reality from scratch in a way that has never happened on the planet before. Because here on Earth, if we ever wanted to make a huge change in our life and what our reality was, we had to die. We had to go into a new lifetime to completely rewrite the rules of an incarnation. But according to the P's, we're having the opportunity to make that kind of game change in this lifetime, in this incarnation. So it's like we're being given the opportunity to reincarnate without dying. That's how dramatically we can change our reality now. Because as the P's were explaining it to me, basically, we're having the chance to rewrite all the rules of what it means to be human, what it means to live a human life. And most of the rules we inherited from our ancestors, that life is hard. You gotta struggle. You have to work for abundance. A lot of those rules are just old collective contracts. But guess what? They have expired. And as we move into the April energies, we are having the opportunity to transform, as Yaila was saying, or to completely change the rules and the definition of our life, of our reality. We get to recreate it from scratch as we're starting to move forward in these energies. And according to the Pleiadians, we can move through this more and more quickly the more we kind of remove ourselves from 3D, from sticking our nose in what everyone else is doing. Because as we look around at what others are doing and get all sucked into the dramas of the world around us, we're just buying into someone else's story, someone else's version of reality. And that just takes us away from the reality we want to create. So we're moving into what the Ps are now calling the portal of ascension, where we get to redefine everything. So we are moving into what they called an unprecedented time on the planet. And I don't know about y'all, but I am certainly ready. So what does this mean in terms of the energies? What are they going to feel like as we move into the April energies? Well, the Pleiadians describe them as stripping energies. And what they meant by that was that these are energies that are going to strip away from you anything that is, and y'all, Corey's doing a little dance for us off camera. These are energies that are going to pull away from you anything that is not a match to your timeline. So their advice for us for April is to let things go. Anything that is trying to get away from you in April, the Ps are encouraging us to let it go, that it's being removed by the universe for a reason, because it's not a match to us. So if you are like me and tend to cling to things when the universe is trying to remind you or have you release it, not a great time to do that. So the Ps are encouraging us to be very flexible in April and be willing to let go, because this is a time where anything that's not a match for your timeline is going to try to get away from you. So this time, let it go. Now, one way that this is showing up for a lot of people, I know a lot of my clients are already starting to see this in some of those major areas of our lives. So I am seeing a lot of people kind of have this realization around their jobs, their careers, their relationships. So we're talking some of the big ticket items. So just being aware that if something is collapsing or crumbling or not going the way you want it to, it may be the universe encouraging you very strongly to let that go so that something better can fill in behind it. Now, the last thing that the Pleiadians had for us for these April energies is they are also encouraging us to mind our business. And what they mean by that is taking our attention off of what anyone else is doing. So if you are still someone who is being distracted by all those stories of the shiny distractions in the world around us, if you are getting super involved in what other people are doing that you don't approve of, all you're doing is using those distractions to move off of your timeline, and that just slows you down. So this is the time, as the Pleiadians say, to stay in your lane more than ever before. And their last point for us as we navigate what is sure to be a very exciting and spicy month is they said that there are a few things we can do to make these energies a little easier on ourselves. And the first thing they recommend is grounding. And I know Corey and Yaila already touched on this, how important it is to be grounded, especially to the earth energies. And I know a lot of you starseeds don't like to hear that. You're not huge fans of grounding into the earth. It's super important for us to be connected to earth energy right now, because as you all know, the earth energy is what creates everything in our life. In this realm, if we want to create something, we have to be connected to the energy of the planet. It is our contractor. It is what builds whatever we are trying to manifest. So the more you can ground yourself to the earth energies, it takes a lot of the stress off your physical body. So that's going to be really important for us as these massive energies, which just seem to get bigger and bigger every day. It's going to help take some of the stress off you. Now, something else that's going to be helpful in these energies, which the Ps always say, is stay in your heart and out of the mind. The mind is going to want to try to figure out what is going on, and that's really not the mind's job. So if you just stay in your heart and trust that your higher self knows the game plan, You'll move through these changes and these new energies much more easily. And then the last thing they had for us is to encourage us to support the body, because these energies, as we have all seen over the past couple of years, can really pummel the physical body. And so anything you can do to support your body is going to make this a little easier on yourself. So you may notice that you are being pulled to clean things up, to eat healthier, to get back to exercising if you've been a little slack, to get lots of water. Almost everyone I know is doing some sort of detox or cleanse right now. You may just find that in these energies, you're being pulled to clean up your body, your diet, your exercise, anything you are taking in. And the reason for that is it's going to support your body in handling these energies. So it's going to be a really big month, but it's also going to be one of the most powerful portals we have had access to for probably our entire lives. So it's going to be really, really big if you choose to use it that way. So that is what the P's had for us in April. Ladies, anything else that is popping in that you wanted to clarify? No? Well, guys, we are so grateful that you guys watch our videos. Thank you so much for following all three of us, for all of your wonderful comments, and for your likes and your shares. We really do appreciate it. And we hope to see you again in May for our next monthly update. We'll see you soon. Bye.